This video was all about answering the question that I've been asked so many times. What states do I need to avoid? Where do I need to spend my dollars when it comes to final expense telesales leads or life insurance leads? Because if you spend your money in the wrong places, it can be a painful lesson, my friends. So we're going to give you 2 states to steer clear of. And not that any states are bad, but let me share with you, these are the things that you're going to find are going to bite you and bite you right in the wallet where you're trying to make the wealth from. So number one, if you're taking notes, is Florida. Florida's a great state. You're like, wow, the sunshine state. I'm going to make crazy success because there's so many great retirees there. Well, wrong here. Not that there's not a lot of retirees, but the pickup rate for Florida is actually insanely low, and the purchase price of your lead is a little higher than it is in other states, which means your lead spend is going to be so much more than you buying leads in another state. So Florida, higher lead cost, lower pickup rate, meaning that when you're trying to work that phone to make a final expense telesales call using your script, you won't see as much success if they don't pick up the phone. What can you do with a lead if you don't have anybody to have a conversation with? You're going to go to broke land. So Florida, not a great state for final expense telesales, unless, by the way, here's the caveat, unless you're a Floridian. If you're a Floridian, you need to immediately in your final expense script or face-to-face appointment setting script, address yourself as a Floridian so that they know you're not some imposter over the phone from another state that they really don't like as much. Floridians are kind of territorial a little bit. They just are. Go ahead and move there. They're going to be like, where are you from? You got it. What kind of plate on your car? Get the heck out of here. In certain neighborhoods. Now, I'm not trying to paint everybody with that brush, but you're going to find that's true. I've got crazy good agents that partner with us here nationally to sell insurance in Florida. They're great people, and our prospects are amazing too. Great people, but they have some little things, little quirks that not everybody will experience unless you are a Floridian. They're kind of territorial a little bit, not all, but some. So you want to immediately on that script identify yourself as a Floridian so that they can let those walls down. All right. You got to be mindful of this, but your lead cost a lot higher than other states and the pickup rate a lot lower when you're calling Florida. Now, another thing you want to know about the state of Florida to avoid, unless you live there, like I say, is that you can only call so many times in a day. And you're like, what? Yes. Florida, you cannot make more than 3 telemarketing calls, 3, 1, 2, 3, like we're 2-year-olds here, to any consumer in a 24-hour period. So if you get a final expense lead and you're doing telemarketing, guess what? You get 3 calls in a day and you're done. Put the phone down. So if that person didn't pick up, let's say you double dialed. Well, that's 2 calls. Yeah, 2 calls. And then you make 1 more call, you're done. Put the phone down. See how that's a bad state to really find success in? When you can only call 3 times in a 24-hour period? Maybe you didn't know that. And I hope this video is just what you need to find success. But 3 calls in a day in Florida. Painful lesson if you spent a lot of money on leads and then you find out I can only call them 3 times, period, even if they don't pick up the phone. Yes, that's correct. That's why I say don't work Florida. Don't buy leads in Florida unless you're a Floridian. And even then, a lot of Floridians will not work their own state in telesales. They'll actually buy outside states, non-resident states, and work those because they're easier to engage with and they don't have this 3-call maximum problem, which will hurt you in the pocketbook. So Florida, there you go. Higher lead cost, lower pickup rate, and only 3 calls in a day. Wah, wah. Not a fun time. Now, another state you want to avoid, number 2, is New York. New York's a great state to visit. I wouldn't choose to work there, and this is why. The level of companies that like Florida and do business in Florida is insanely small, meaning your solutions are not great like in other states. The solutions for New York are not in a telesales-friendly manner. Most carriers for New York are DocuSign, lots of extra disclosures, and less compensation to you, the agent in Florida. So Florida is a state that a lot of insurance companies have steered clear of. There's a reason, and that's not a state that I want to go spend a lot of my time in when I only have a very small tool chest to take care of great people over the telephone. So you can find success in New York because not a lot of agents are working it, but you're going to have a lot of barriers to you making the dollars there when you have to use DocuSign and email-based signatures for everybody. And then the client says, I'm just tired. I can't figure it out, Jason. Let's do this tomorrow. And tomorrow means never. All right. So a frustrated client and a client that isn't taken care of seamlessly is not going to be a fun experience for you when you realize you've got limited carriers, limited commissions, and not a lot of fun here. It's a little punishing when you're dealing with those types of signature ceremonies. It can really hurt you. So understand New York, great state to live, maybe, if that's what you like. But most people that aren't face to face don't really like New York. They're going to do telesales in a different state. So New York is one to avoid because of the additional regulation and the limited carrier offerings in that state. Now, if you do work New York and you need a really good niche carrier for that state, we got them, my friends. JasonFinalExpense.com. We will help you. And we do recruit agents nationally that align here, as well as agencies that we recruit to sell life insurance, Medicare insurance, and annuities face to face, but more importantly in the telespace. And free resources, by the way, for you at JasonFinalExpense.com. No matter what work family that you align with, we do value you, and I appreciate you watching. I hope this content is helping you. But Florida and New York, I would steer clear of. Another state that you want to kind of know a little bit about is Hawaii. A lot of people love visiting Hawaii. You need to realize that Hawaii's non-resident license fee really expensive, and the hours of availability for you to actually make calls to when you live on the mainland is kind of messy. So you're not going to have as much time on the mainland to really make it work in most cases. All right. So Hawaii is one that I would also avoid because of the cost of the non-resident license. Now, 3 other states, I'm going to give you some bonus rounds here on weird states that you want to know before you go walking into a concrete wall is Maine. Maine is a little messy, and this is why Maine is. You can't make more than one solicitation call using an automated device like a dialer to any phone number. You get one call, one single solicitation call in an 8-hour period. Are you kidding me? So if you work 16-hour days, folks, you can make 2 calls. Does that sound like fun? Did you know that? Put in the comments below if this video is helping you, or if you knew this information. That would help the algorithm out, and that would be helping me out if we're assisting you. And hit the notification bell, by the way, too. We're going to give you future content. And at the end of this video, I'm going to provide you a video up above that's going to help you keep more of your business on the books using Social Security billing. Oh, by the way, including the calendar. All right. But for Maine, Maine's messy. You get one solicitation call using an automated telephone device in an 8-hour period. Wah, wah, brick wall. No thanks. Another one is Maryland. Maryland, right? Great state, right? You can't make, this is just like Florida, you can't make more than 3 telemarketing calls to a consumer in a 24-hour period. Did you know that about Maryland, by the way? Did you know that about Maine? Curious. Some of you may. Put in the comments below if you did. Another state that you want to kind of avoid a little bit is Oklahoma. Great folks that live in Oklahoma. We take care of tons of prospects and powerful agents nationally that we recruit to sell life insurance and Medicare insurance and millions in annuities. But in Oklahoma, you can't do more than 3 telemarketing calls to a consumer in a 24-hour period. Isn't that bizarre for Oklahoma? And if you're trying to make the bucks, you have to be about that dial for dollars to have a chance of sustaining action. Remember, activity breeds one thing, my friends. In this industry, activity breeds aptivity, writing apps. But it's a business where not everybody makes it. 90% of the agent force sometimes doesn't spend their lead dollars in the right places. If you're buying leads in Florida, you're going to broke land potentially. If you're buying leads in New York, ouch, and you're wondering why the business is so tough, you're buying leads in some of these other states that we just mentioned, like Maine or Maryland or Oklahoma, and then maybe you're making a mistake by just wild westing it and I'm going to do whatever I want to do. Well, you're going to put yourself into a place that's going to be really bad with the regulators. It's not worth it, my friends. So this data, I hope, keeps you out of harm's way. I hope it helps you make decisive movements when you're spending your money on some of the best exclusive final expense leads on the market, because sometimes you don't get a second chance in this business. It's either I'm going to really make it, or maybe I'm going to become a statistic. And 90% of the agent force sometimes doesn't make it because they made a bad decision with where they bought their leads. Maybe they aren't disciplined. Maybe they don't have good habits. And if you don't have good habits or discipline, even with the best skill on the planet, you don't even have a chance of survival in this space, because half the battle, my friends, is showing up, delivering major value. And if you're the most gifted agent that doesn't get on the phone, you probably won't get anything good regardless. And you'd be amazed how many people don't understand that completely. It's really a sad thing, but some agents, I say, you can't train tall in basketball. The business looks like a little hard work. It does, a whole lot of skill. And you know what? Knowing the states to avoid will help you, I hope, become a success story and eliminate some chance of you becoming a statistic, because this business is amazing, but it's one of those businesses where it's risk reward. And those that take the risk have a chance, not a guarantee, of finding the reward, but there's no better life than this. When you make it, when you become successful, it's dynamic that you can really serve people in any state that you call a home. You can live in Florida, you could live in New York, not make a single dial in your own state, and buy leads at lesser cost and have more call volume, giving you the very thing you want: more people to connect to, more people to meet their needs, because the more hands you shake, as they say, the more money you've got a chance to make. I hope this video helps you. I'll put that video up above. Hope it serves you well. Remember, my friends, you've got what it takes. Enjoy that Social Security video, and anything we can do for you, let us know. But remember, my friends, we'll never get anywhere good with a negative mind. Keep moving, keep moving. And you know what? Hopefully success will chase you as well. We'll see you soon.